Hey guys, Dan here. Welcome to your Masked Singer, not review. Usually I do reviews on this channel. This is more of just a recap, I guess, and I'll let you know my thoughts on some of these performers. So we are still in Group A. This year, I guess they're splitting them between three groups. There's 18 people total, but I guess they're going to eliminate a couple from each group before moving on to the next group. So Group A is going to be back again next week. There are four remaining people will be back again. So here we have five of the six people we already saw on Sunday night after the Super Bowl. The only one missing was the robot, because he was revealed on Sunday as Lil Wayne. And by the way, if you haven't seen tonight's Masked Singer, don't watch this video yet. Go and check out the episode and then come back and watch the video. So there's five people left, and I've got my handy-dandy notebook here. Always have to write down all the clues. And I don't necessarily write down my guesses, but I do write down what songs they sing and kind of remember what the judges said. So first up, we had the Llama, and, you know, we'll get back to him because he's actually the one that got sent home. So let's talk about the other people first. So Miss Monster was next. We had an art class motif this time, a reference to Titanic. She was saying, you know, paint me like your French monsters. There was a Queen chess piece in the package as well. And then after they sang this week, Nick asked them like what they were most likely to be in like the, you know, the Masked Singer yearbook or whatever. And she said most likely to be in the presence of royalty. She sang Fancy, the Bobby Gentry classic that I actually know best from Reba McEntire in the 90s. But here we go now with a lot of these, I don't know, mixed messages from last week. A lot of the acts tonight had some really mixed messages in their package from last week. Not necessarily opposite messages, just sort of very confusing based on what we already learned. But I do think this is still some sort of older R&B soul type diva. I actually am getting the feeling that she is restraining her voice a little bit so that we don't know. So I feel like it's somebody that has a pretty distinct voice, because last year we all knew Patti LaBelle fairly early on because you could just tell that voice. So here, I don't know, is it maybe somebody that is like so famous, because I feel like she's got a big voice, but she's doing these songs that are sort of more you know, down tempo and not showcasing it as much. So I don't know. I don't have any specific guesses. Somebody on my comments from the last video said they thought it was Tina Turner. I don't think it's Tina Turner, just because I think that's probably too high profile for the show. But I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards somebody like, you know, I don't know, Donna Summer maybe, like somebody more in that vein. I'd love to see Anita Baker do the show, but I think her voice is so distinctive. So I don't know. It might be a Dionne Warwick or Donna Summer type person. I'm going to go with Donna Summer, I guess. I don't think that's correct, but that's my best guess on her. So let's see. I'm trying to think of what order they went in tonight, because I have them written down in the order they were last week. I think maybe next was the White Tiger. And so here in the package we saw a skiing cow. He talked about how he brings the block party. He said, dancing heals my body after a beating, which made me think of boxing. Again, with football, they talked a lot about football in the first package. And then he sang Good Vibrations from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And then his most likely was most likely to go to the mat for a friend. And so then the panel started thinking like maybe some famous wrestlers, maybe a Hulk Hogan. Clearly, this person is not a professional singer. They are having a lot of fun up there. There's no doubt about that. But between Ice Ice Baby and Good Vibrations, neither which even require that strong of a voice, it's still kind of not a good performance. But it's a fun performance. So whoever this is obviously, a party kind of guy. It could be a wrestler. I didn't hate that, but Robin pointed out something that was in the back of my mind as well, that Nick Cannon pointed out at the very beginning of the premiere episode, right after the Super Bowl, that the members of this 6-person group A for the season, have been to 9 Super Bowls. Now, to me, that could be like as part of the halftime show or something as well. So, maybe that could be the singing part. But, so that's the only thing that kind of keeps me off the wrestling motif for this. Because the clues today were more wrestling, tag team, take him to the mat. But, I don't know. I think it might be this Gronkowski person. I don't know much about football, but Jamie Foxx, I think, was the one who had said that last week. Robin Thicke brought it up again tonight, and I talked to my brother about it. He's a big sports guy, and he was like, no, it makes total sense. He does commentary for Fox, so he's already kind of on the Fox roster. So I don't know. I'm going to go with him. Is it Rob Gronkowski? That's my best guess for him. I believe the Kangaroo was next, and here she said about putting herself in the spotlight again. So maybe somebody that hasn't been in the public eye for a little while. Last week there was a lot of boxing stuff. This time basketball references. I noticed the panel didn't say anything about this, but there was a big table with like a lot of makeup and cosmetics. So I was thinking maybe somebody with some sort of cosmetics line. And then she said, for her, it was most likely to be on a list with Seal and Mike Tyson, which she said she has been. So, right away, I sort of thought, like, one of the few lists I can think of that might have both of those people is a best dressed list. Seal's always pretty dapper. Mike Tyson, I don't know, that's kind of hit or miss, but you never know. So, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit weird. There's not too many lists that both of those people would be on. With a female singer. She clearly is, if she's not a professional singer, she's certainly sang in some things because she's got a dynamite voice. Last week there was a lot of like stuff with the Outback, but they really kind of veered away from that this week, and nobody on the panel even mentioned it. So I think maybe that was sort of a red herring. But she sang You Know I'm No Good by Amy Winehouse. Last week she sang Dancing on My Own. Both of those are pretty, like, powerful female torch songs almost. And I think she nailed it both times. So I think whoever this is, she's a professional singer. I don't know about the boxing or the basketball. She said last time that she lost someone who held the family together. So, father figure or mother figure maybe. Which again, I don't know who this would be. But when Jason Biggs was the guest on the show tonight, and he had mentioned Tatiana Ali from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which she did have an album come out in like the late 90s or something. She can sing, so I don't know. Also, he lost someone who held the family together, and the man that played Uncle Phil died a few years ago, and he certainly would have been a paternal figure to her. So that's kind of my best guess now for her is Tatiana Ali. I don't know. And then the last one was the Turtle. And here we saw a bunch of food stuff at the beginning. There was like a menu with ginger snaps on it and some other things. And then he had a plate of food. The other day he was cooking burgers. Something I picked up on that nobody on the panel said was in the package the security guards were like clipping the little plastic rings around soda bottles. So I was thinking somebody who's known for being environmentally conscious, that kind of thing. And then his most likely was most likely to hunt for booty. Which to me right away, I was thinking maybe they were trying to throw you off a little bit. Like you're thinking booty, like a butt. I was thinking like pirate's booty. Like not Johnny Depp, obviously, but somebody maybe associated with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies or something in that area. And then he's saying "Say You Won't Let Go" from James Arthur. Last time was "Kiss from a Rose," so he's singing these ballads. Something that the panel kept thinking was maybe he is a rocker that wants to sort of dial it back and do more ballad type stuff, because in the package he had talked about, sort of being known as, the party guy kind of thing. But their clues, or their guesses, I should say, for that were, I thought, way off. I mean, Robin Thicke said Billy Joe Armstrong. The voice sounds nothing like that. And we've heard Billy Joe be, more contemplative with "Time of Your Life" and a couple other songs like that. So definitely isn't him. Jason Biggs was thinking maybe the food was a nod to the band that they're in, maybe like Red Hot Chili Peppers or something like that. I don't know. I'm still getting a very boy bandy vibe from this. Jenny McCarthy's been hitting on that. One thing though, one of my commenters on the other video I did had mentioned Jesse McCartney, and also along with that she thought this person sounded a lot younger than who my pick was, which was Joey McIntyre. Listening to it this time, I definitely think it is somebody younger than New Kids on the Block. I think it is somebody that probably, got big in the mid 90s and beyond. I think it's somebody that's probably no more than, maybe 30, 35 years old, maybe even younger. Jesse McCartney makes a lot of sense, because even though he wasn't in a boy band, he was in that whole bubblegum pop boom of the early 2000s. I don't think I would have thought of that myself, but like tonally, I can hear it. So I think that's a pretty good guess. I'm not sure what it has to do with some of this other stuff. Most likely to hunt for booty. I don't know what that has to do with Justin McCartney, but I don't know. I think that's about as good a guess as we have. So I thank you for that in the comments. And that's why I decided to do these videos. I love hearing other opinions on this, because I'm usually way off on these. So with that in mind, let's get to the Llama, who was eliminated. So he sang "It's Not Unusual" by Tom Jones today. His package had to do with thinking on his feet. He said, namaste. Well, I think he said lamaste because he's the llama, but, namaste. So somebody with, sort of peace and a yoga type thing. There was like a Buddha in the first package. And then also he was playing an accordion. So a lot of, accordion type stuff in the package. So the panel guessed some people who, again, they were just like last week with Lil Wayne. They were way off. Jason Biggs brought Johnny Knoxville up, which somebody thought last week too. I think maybe Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx thought it was Steve-O. I think Jenny McCarthy thought Johnny Knoxville was Lil Wayne. And who else did they guess? Woody Harrelson, I think, was one of the guesses, maybe from Nicole. But anyway, they were all way off. Joel McHale, because he's from Seattle, was one of the guesses. So it turns out it was Drew Carey. I was way off on that. Robin guessed Adam Carolla because of the radio stuff, which was a decent guess, but Adam Carolla is super tall, so I knew it was not him. My guess last week on it was Dave Foley because of being on news radio, and then also the cards. There was a Jack and Ace of Spades that they showed, and Dave Foley hosts the World Series of Poker, or did anyway for a very long time. So I was thinking more in that vein. But the one I thought tonight, before they revealed it, I actually thought Jenny McCarthy might have been onto something with Zach Galifianakis, just because I thought sort of the cards were indicating like The Hangover taking place in Vegas, so that kind of poker vibe. Because listening to the voice this week, it did not sound like Dave Foley to me at all. So I thought maybe she was on something with Zach Galifianakis. In a couple of his movies, his characters are very like earthy and like, oh, yes, namaste kind of thing. So I don't know. I thought she was maybe on the right track with that. The reveal with Drew Carey was, the whole Seattle thing. It never said he was from Seattle. But he owns a soccer team or something in Seattle. Or co-owns or whatever. So that was that. The radio stuff was his Underground Garage XM show on satellite radio. And then they said most likely to be near firing cannons, which is what led Jason Biggs to Johnny Knoxville with Jackass. But no, it's because of his military service way back when. So I do like that this season they're actually fleshing out what a lot of the clues mean, because last year it was like they would give so many clues and then at the end of it they would say like two things, that you were like, okay, well, how would we know that? Kelly Osbourne was the worst offender of that. She put on this British accent or this Southern accent, so they thought she was from the South, and then like none of the clues led to the fashion police or her talk show or whatever. It was like it was just all like these red herrings. So I'm glad at least they're dealing with some of that. So here for Drew Carey, I was kind of on the right track with Dave Foley. The cards did indicate poker. Drew Carey is apparently like a world poker champion for like the celebrity tour, I guess. So I was sort of on the right track for that. And then something they didn't mention, but that I thought was probably the case. Remember last time I was saying the numbers of the shows, like on the packages, usually lead to like a birthday or something. And when they were doing the radio dial in the first package, it said 23.3 on the dial. I've worked in radio for 25 years. I'm like, that's not a radio frequency. There's no way. That has to be meaning something. So after the show, I looked up Drew Carey's birthday. It's not on March 23rd, which would be 23.3, but it is on May 23rd. So his birthday is on the 23rd, and that's why they had him be on, number 23 on the radio dial. So that was a clue as well that they didn't mention. But yeah, way off again on that. So far I am like 0 for 2 by a clear mile on this season. But I guess they're going to have next week the remaining 4 sing, and then they're going to go into, I guess, the championships then in a few weeks after they do everybody from Group B and Group C. So there's still 12 singers for this season we haven't even seen yet. So who knows who they will be. But boy, I'm really out in the woods with several of these people. So please comment below with your guesses. Tell me where your head's at with it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.